Farm it with mules. We have to hoe the cotton with a hoe and pick the cotton by hand. And that's where we made our living. And we raised everything we eat, just about it, in our garden. We didn't even buy pinto beans. We raised butter beans, October beans, green beans, and peas, and everything else you could eat. He would have, well, we had an old cellar under our house. Sometimes they might put stuff on there. But they'd get out and dig them a big hole outside of a turf row and put straw in it. Well, it would be cane pommies or something like that. And they'd put turnips or, apples, anything like that in there. And then you'd put your straw back over it and then cover it up good with dirt. And then in the winter, when you'd want them, you could dig in there and get it. Oh, working in the field, bringing in stove wood to cook on a wood stove, toting water from the spring. So it was that all done. That's when we had meeting at our house on Saturday night. Well, we couldn't wait till Saturday evening to mop because we had to use an old shuck mop and then pour water over the floor and rinse it off. And any time during the week we could get time, we scrub it good. When it got dry, me and Herschel would go down there toward the spring and get sand and just cover that floor real good. And then you didn't sweep it no more till after after we eat supper on Saturday night and washed the dishes, and then you swept the floor good and it was real clean. Walked. We walked a mile each way, morning and night. And if it was too bad, you stayed home. Most of the time we had 6 weeks out for when we had to hoe cotton. School closed down for 6 weeks when we done that. And then in the summertime, we had to go 6 weeks. Then they turned out 6 weeks in the fall to pick cotton. Okay, it wasn't much to think of, hon. On Christmas Eve morning, well, we would go, me and Juanita, if we got old enough, get a little bitty something. And if we put up a little old tree, we'd have to cut crepe paper and twist it and all, put it around it, which wasn't nothing much. But on Christmas Eve night, we went to bed and we hung our stocking up. See, we didn't get Christmas presents like they do now. We had our stocking up. I was just little, by the time I was little, plumb on. And the one that woke up first of a morning could holler Christmas Eve gift. And that was usually me. I was always an early riser. Holler Christmas Eve gift just as loud as you could. Run up there and get your stocking. You know what was in it. It was an orange and an apple and a little bit of candy. That's it. You didn't get presents, wrap presents. Work, work, work. That's about what it was. We didn't have time for nothing much. We didn't have electricity. So, see, we towed all of our water from a spring. They finally got our well drilled. But we didn't have no spare time much. And we swept our yard with a brush broom. There wasn't no lawnmowers. And you didn't have no carpet on your floor. Nothing like that. But see, all your yard, you dug it off with a hoe, and then you swept it up. Well, Juanita was older than me, and she would sweep the front yard and end yard where everybody come up. But she wouldn't let me sweep that. I had to sweep the backyard. She thought that had to be just so-so. But now she didn't care about the house. It was that yard. And we'd play hopscotch and all that kind of stuff. But them men get out there and shoot their marbles. Billy'd keep a bicycle fixed up all the. I don't reckon he ever bought one, but he might take 2 or 3 and make one. And some of the boys would be in the army or something and come in on furlough. They'd all get together and make music. Of course, all of them nearly could make some kind of music. And if they could, they'd get Daddy to dance. And he was limber as a dish rag nearly. He'd tap dance. Now he didn't just, he danced. We thought that was so funny to get him to dance. Now, Mama could really play the banjo, they said, but we never seen her. Bobby, yeah, a third section. He might have been in the 4th grade. Miss Irma Hamilton, she's a little old bitty woman. And Bobby was in her class, and he was sitting in the seat with his feet turned out in the aisle, reading a comic book, which he wasn't supposed to be doing, but that's what he's doing. And Miss Irma come down through there, and she had a big old long pencil, and she just whacked him on top of the head to get his feet back under there. And he jumped up, and he picked her up, and he had her up in his arms before he come to himself. He was so mad. Well, they sent and got Mr. Trotman, he drove a bus. And Miss Irma told Bobby, said, go get your daddy. And Mr. Trotman come down there, and he said, what'd you do? She told him. He said, well, you're the teacher, take care of her. And she just turned around and walked out. That sounded like Bobby anyway. And Mr. Trotman too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, you're the teacher, take care of him. 1949. I was picking cotton behind Mattie Nix's store at Old Greasy Hill. And late that evening, we weighed our cotton up and we started home walking 1.25 miles, and the lights was on.
How old were you?
I was 15-year-old. And we never had electricity before.
How did y'all meet?
At church.
Can you tell us about that story?
That's sort of funny. We just always went to church. That's on where we ever went. But he just sort of tricked me into going home with me. We went down to the Rock House, and he was down there, and he come over there, and he said, how about walking up the road with you? And I thought there's a crossing. And I thought when I got to that crossing, he'd go home and I'd go home. But when I got to the crossing, he went my way. And so we walked all the way, probably it was about 4.5 miles. And when we got, I was so bashful. Everybody knowed I was. When I got to the top of the hill, they was all sitting out in the front yard, and that's Marcy went in, put on his big old coat and got his guitar. And Mama told him, said, you get in that house and pull that off. She said she was afraid I'd start crying. And when we got down there, Lloyd said, Mama, go in there and fix him something to eat. Now, I didn't want him to go in there and eat, because we always had a bunch on Sunday. Men would eat first, and the women and the kids, and I didn't want him to go in there and eat. But he did, and that broke the ice. I was nearly 17. We went up to Rossville, Georgia. He borrowed a big old log truck. And we didn't have a way of going. And he was cutting timber for this man, and he borrowed their big log truck. That's what we went. I didn't tell him. You didn't tell everything back then. When he come that morning to get me for us to go get married, Juanita was going to go with us. Mama was sewing on a sewing machine, on no pedal sewing machine. And he asked her, said, what do you think about me and Lou getting married? She didn't say nothing. He had to ask her again. She heard him, but she just went. And she said, well, be good to her.
Yeah.
Well, we stayed in a motel the first night. The second night, we stayed at Lloyd's. And then we rented that little old house on the other side where we're fixing to go now. But the house is gone for $5 a month. We married the 14th of December, and over in January we went to Indiana. Didn't like it. It was about 12 below zero and snow on all the time. And I was going to make some snow cream for him one day, and when I got it made, it was just black streaked. So I had to throw it out. We learned you couldn't make snow cream out of that snow up there. Oh, we didn't move in Chattanooga till Rodney was little. He was about 3.5 months old. Buford finally got a job there, and we moved up there. Well, Rodney, after he got a little older, one side of us, the girls really thought a lot of Stanley, and they'd want to get him and they'd read to him, and boy, he loved it. And then on the other side was big boys, and they'd want Rodney to play with him. And then when it got warm weather, I'd put 2 big old dishpans out in the front yard, put water in it for the kids to play in. And of course Stanley would sit there and play, and Rodney'd get out and dump his one. Mm-hmm. And when he'd dump it, them boys would go fill it up again. And then he'd play a few minutes and he'd dump it again. But they really thought a lot of him. And that lady on that side of the house and one of them grown boys come to Rodney's funeral. Mm. We liked up there. I did. I really liked. The easiest time. See, I didn't have to work in the field and I didn't have to work in the chicken house. But then we got this place down here, moved down here, and we had to really work on that old house over there. Then he built chicken houses, and so that's when the work really started. We was at Scottsboro, sitting over at the courthouse square, and I had a girlfriend that worked over in the drugstore, and they sold ice cream. And you could get a good ice cream for a nickel, or you get 2 dips for a dime. But if I went in there, she put 2 dips in mine for a nickel. Yeah, he reached his hand in his pocket, pulled out a dime. He said, "Lou, go over there and get us an ice cream." See, I could have got 2 for a dime. I said, "I don't want one, but I'll get you one." He said, "Get me 2. I don't know of nothing no better to spend your last dime on." And I went over and got him 2 ice creams, and he ate them both. We had a meeting at our house usually every Saturday night till they condemned old Greasy Hill School. And after they condemned that, they let people have a meeting there. And we had it up there and we quit having it at our houses. "70 years in July. Wow. We got electricity in 1949, and that's when I got the Holy Ghost. I went to church all week. They'd run a revival at Greasy Hill, and I look back now and I said the Lord was working with me, but I wasn't telling nobody, and I was so bashful. I didn't think I could walk up that aisle in front of people. I just didn't think I could. But I went on that week, and here comes Sunday evening, and we always had a bunch of company to come home with us for dinner. And the men eat first, the women eat, and then us kids. Well, it was me and Juanita. And we got to the table, and Desi, it was Shirley's mama, said, "Why didn't y'all girls go to the altar today?" Juanita said, "I didn't feel like it." She said, "What about you, Madeline?" "I done got my plate fixed. I hadn't eaten nothing." I said, "I didn't either." She said, "Why, Madeline?" See, they'd been noticing me and I didn't know. And boy, when she said that, I don't believe I could have swallowed a bite if they'd have been over me with a shotgun. I just pushed my plate back. I hadn't ate a bite. Mama said, "Come on, we'll go back to church after a while." I didn't come on. I headed to the bedroom. I didn't eat no dinner. I didn't drink nothing. I didn't eat no supper. I didn't drink nothing. I didn't eat or drink a drop. I didn't talk to nobody. I stayed in my bedroom time to go. But when I got to meeting that night, I still wasn't talking, but I got closer to the front. And I'd think, oh, I just didn't think I could walk up that aisle. I thought I couldn't. But when they made altar call, I don't remember leaving my seat. I don't remember nothing. The only thing I remember when I got up there, when I knelt down, Mr. Helton said, "Sister, don't be ashamed to pray." And that's the only words I remember anybody saying to me. I was condemned to die. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is there. Of course, I didn't know about him then. But now he got told to go to the woods, up in the edge of the woods, by himself. But I told him if they got in the shape I got in, there wouldn't be nothing funny. There wouldn't be playing with the babies. There wouldn't be laughing and talking. Because I wasn't interested in none of that. One time it was so dry, like it is now. I don't know where it's hardly as dry, but it was really dry. Well, we knew if we didn't get a rain, we wouldn't make a garden, and our corn stuff wouldn't make. And that's what we had for a living. That's the only thing. So it was just sun shining, and Ermy was going to take Mama Summers. And so she went off and prayed. She prayed for the rain. She come back when they left. She told Ermy, said, "Well, I believe we'll get a rain for night." Ermy said, "You uncover your drums." We had 2 or 3 50-gallon drums sitting in the leak of the house, and we'd keep them covered up. And then when it rained, we'd uncover them. That was to wash in. And she said, yeah, because she had faith. She believed it's going to get rain. So for night, we got a good rain. And up there at Mattie Nix's store, they didn't get a rain. And Mr. Van Reed and Mr. Nix told some, said, "We need to get Miss Townsend to come up here and pray for it to rain." That was when my baby died. That's the worst things ever happened to me. I had tonsillitis once. Now this is after my baby died. And I done lost seemed like every faith I'd ever had. And I had tonsillitis, and I done got so bad, Buford brought me back to Miss Trotman's to get them to, brought me back down there. And they'd done prayed for me, but I wasn't no better. And I done went so many days without swallowing a thing. And I'd try to swallow water, and it run out my nose. I couldn't get a drop down. Then it got where it wasn't coming out. I just have to spit it out. So I quit trying. And I done got so bad till they'd raise me up in the bed and I'd pass out. I was about dead. Buford done give me up. He told me after then, said he thought I was going just like Rodney did. And Cliff come up there, that's Shirley's daddy, and told Buford he was out in the yard just walking around. He said, "Buford, let's call him in one more time." Buford said, "Whatever she wants." And he come in there and got on his knees by the bed, said, "Sis," said, "let's call him in one more time." I said, "This is whatever y'all want to do." I thought, well, if I die, I'll get to go and be with Rodney, and Buford stay here with Stanley. I was just that silly. And so they come in, and they said there's 2 men come in that night thinking the Lord's going to help me. And they got to praying for me, and Brother Lonzy Barnes, he laid hands on me, and I just laid there. But he reached and got me and raised me up in the bed. And when he did, some of them said, "Do you want some water?" And I did. And I drunk some water in front of everybody. And Miss Trotman them knowed I hadn't been able to drink none. And then Brother Lundsey said, "Sister, have you got any peaches? Canned peaches?" And Miss Trotman did and went and got some. I didn't want no peaches, but I did eat some right in front of them. Well, that night I went to bed and I rested pretty good. Well, no, back up. Before I went to bed, my throat busted. And I just vomited that old bloody corruption up. I mean, my tonsils busted, see. Oh, it was awful. Well, then that night, I got chugged up again. And the next day, my adenoids busted. It run out my nose just like it did my mouth. I got all right then. He done been dead about, let me see, about 3 months when that happened. If it hadn't, I don't know what I'd ever done. I guess the Lord just showed us He could heal when He wanted to, and He'd take us when He wanted to. But that's the hardest trial I ever went through. Oh, that's Brother Dennis Wilbanks. I guess you probably heard about that. Yeah, he got the Holy Ghost, and then he wanted Buford to baptize him. And it was cold. I imagine there's 2 to 3 inches of ice. I mean, it was froze over. And we got over there, and Brother Dewey said, Brother Buford said, I believe if I was y'all, I'd put this off. Buford said, if he wants to, we will, but I won't put him off. And Dennis wanted to be baptized. So Buford took a axe, and he got out there and went to chopping that. I mean, he had to chop it. And people was with their coats over their head, and all this, everybody freezing nearly. And Buford's out there, didn't even have a coat on, because wasn't no use in getting in the water with a coat on. And he chopped that a big enough place to baptize. He took his hands and got that ice and throwed it off. And then he baptized Dennis. And when Dennis come out, I was sitting in the car, I was sick. I was sitting in the car with her running. And when they got him out, he come and got in the car with me. Instead of getting in their car, I was the closest, and he just jumped in there. And I took my hands and rubbed the ice out of his hair and threw it out the window. And Buford got in the back seat. And I took Dennis by his sisters. And then I come on home, and Buford took a shower. He never made neither one of them sick. Yeah, they said, that's before me and Buford ever married. They was cutting timber, and Virgil, I believe mules run away with him, and they thought it broke his leg. That's what the older men thought. And they was fixing to take him to the hospital, and they said he looked up at Buford. And J.C. was there too, but he didn't ask J.C. He said he looked up at Buford and said, Buford, pray for me. And Buford said he just fell down on his knees there and went to praying, and he laid hands on him. And Virgil thought, he's better. And they want to take him on. Buford said, there ain't no use in it. And they said, yeah, we got to take him. I guess 'cause he was working for them. And they said, well, he used to be broke, but it ain't broke now. He just got up and went on. That was Willard, Ermy's boy. He had appendicitis. And let me see. I don't know where his before they took his appendix out or after. I can't remember. But I think they'd bursted. And anyhow, he was back at Ermyn Lloyd's. And we was sleeping back in another room. And Buford heard him grunting and taking on, but I didn't. I guess I was harder to wake up then. And he got up, and when I went in there, well, Willard was really hurting. He's on the couch. And Ermyn Lloyd done got up then, and he wanted us to pray for him. And we got down to pray, and Willard went and got Buford's hand and laid it over on him. That's how much confidence they... Now, they thought if Buford prayed, Vin and all of them was that way but Buford. One time, Ermy and Hattie Nix, that's Dale Nix, you know Dale Nix, his mama, they never had handled a serpent. And there's a serpent there. And Mama told Billy, said, go up there and tell Sister Hattie to come down here. And he went up there. She just lived up the road a piece. Well, when he got up, he never did get there. He went to getting the birds and this and that. So here come Hattie barefooted down the road. And Mama said, where's Billy? He never did. I didn't see Billy. She said, I just got so miserable I couldn't do my work. And she come barefooted. And they had that snake there. And Mama told her that. Well, it sort of scared her, 'cause she had never handled one. They got out there and poured it out in the front yard, and us kids got up on the porch. I might have been 7 or 8 years old. I don't know. I was little. But we got up there. Well, when they got to praying over that serpent, well, Hattie got to shouting. But she'd shout just about like somebody a dancing. She'd big old fat woman. But she couldn't get it. She just couldn't get it. And Mama just fell down on her knees, and her hands just went over that snake. And when it did, it just flopped over. And boy, Hattie got it. And then here come Ermy. She was around behind the house. She come around through there, and she got it. I seen that with my own eyes. Just going over to Uncle Walter's one time, went across the creek, me and Herschel and Mama. And we was running along, we heard her start praying. We looked back, and she found a snake. She went praying, she handled it directly, she come on and caught us. Where I'd opened the door that morning, and leave it open, and you have to close it. And I went over there, and it was a great, but it was coiled up, a big old snake. Well, there it was. I knowed it. Them doors had to be closed, but I was scared to death of it nearly. And I kept on till I found me a big old pole, and I got up over it, and I go bang, till I beat it to death. 'Cause if I'd have come and got Buford, well, I don't know, he might have been in the field, but see, he would have got gone. But see, it was coiled up, and it looked bigger than what it was. But now I was scared of that snake. And I'll tell you another time when right after we moved over here, I don't remember who lived in that house over there, but under the sink, they had some old fruit jars under there. And I had a garden then out there between her and Marie. And they come out there, come here, come here, come here, here's a snake, here's a snake. So I took the hoe and went in there, and it was under the sink, I guess where it come up through there. And I said, well, that'll break them things. And they said, that don't matter. I took that hoe, and boy, I was beating jugs and all. And I killed it. They give us old Greasy Hill, but they did.
So y'all have a meeting here till it moved to the Greasy Hill Schoolhouse?
Every what night?
Saturday night.
Okay.
Some morning when they straightened it up there for watching it down here, put down that was for supper. Mama churned every day, and we got that kept down here for the next day for dinner.
Okay. So after you had sweet milk for supper, is what's left over churned for buttermilk? Or?
No, well, it's too nice. When you got you in the video, here's the cow, you strained that and got the cream off my morning's milk.
Okay.
Mama churned every day.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, don't.
All right, Mama, I'll point one more time so I can get it on video.
What?
We're at,
Right in there's where I think it was.
and it was a what?
It was a little house,
Oh,
spring house.
you could walk up in it.
Yeah, you walked up in it, and you could dip your bucket down and get a whole bucket of water, and that's where we put our milk under there.
And then you'd get the white sand, and what would you do with the white sand?
Oh, that's where we scrubbed our kitchen. We put the sand on our kitchen. You'd scrub. See, we had a meeting every Saturday night, and we'd scrub our floor anytime we could. And when it got dry, me and Herschel come down here and get white sand, put all over the floor, and you leave it there till Saturday evening after we eat supper and wash the dishes. You sweep that off, and your floor's clean.
Ready for me?
Whoa.